doing a dramedy. I'm not used to doing that. I do a lot of comedies where I come in and I'm like, I'll have a bagel, Those are my lines usually. Or something gross and disturbing. My mom is excited I'm finally being like an actress in this one, But a lot of it just felt very personal to me, her journey and things that I've gone through before. There were lines in there that I'm like, I've said that to myself. And so I thought it would be either very therapeutic or send me in a spiral. And I think it did both in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, it made me look at my own personal journey and how I treat myself and trying to put myself first.
The script it's a love letter to my best friend, who I was her roommate as she was trying to figure out how she was going to get her life on a course she wanted it to be on, and it was really powerful and funny and vulnerable and illuminating, and I wanted to tell that story to everybody. And when Jillian and I met and spoke about the script, we both had the same great desire to take this character and protect her in a way that maybe she's not often protected in film.
The way Paul wrote it, it was so beautiful, and I know the actual Brittany was like involved in a lot of it, you know what I mean? Like, you were always checking in with her and as a woman, you know what I mean? And also as her personal story.
And like, as my best friend, she read all my scripts anyway. She was always my roommate. I was always like emailing her. She'd wake up to something and be like, is this dumb? And so she I just respect her as an artist and as a person, and she both let me tell a story that I wanted to tell, and also was a great dramaturg for a story that was inspired by her.
I mean, the first time we sat down, we were, just talking over every bit of dialogue, every character in the world, what their feelings were behind everything, the motivation. So in that way, I already felt like I was sort of a producer. And then when it happened, I was like, oh, this is great, because I love having creative input. I love solving problems if we're in like the last minute and we're trying to figure out, okay, we can only get this or this. I really enjoy being a producer.
Also, like, it was great having somebody in the cast who was who not only was setting the tone as the lead actor in the piece, but also wanting things to run smoothly. So she was bringing a lot of like, thank you everyone for your hard work. You're doing great. Like, you're watching the dailies and we're like, the light went out, and she's like, everyone's doing such great work. It was lovely.
If the creative don't care like it's their life, and the way she talked about this movie, it was like, it wasn't just what was happening to Brittany. It was like, this is happening to Jillian. I mean, for Brittany's metamorphosis, whatever that is, Jillian was like, by even stepping into this role and taking on this part, and really, she was really doing all the work to get into Brittany's shoes for this part. I just was like, I only want to be around people who care this much about the project that they're working on.
For me, it was it was just like a audition that came through. It was a script. You put it on tape, and then you forget about it. And I hadn't read the script. Usually I don't want to get invested, so I don't like dive in. I like read the 5 pages given to me, do them as best I can. I knew Jillian was doing it, and we had worked together on Game Over, Man, and she's the funniest person. You really are the funniest person I've ever worked with.
That is not true.
I've never
bold lie.
I can't curse. I've never messed up takes because of somebody else, and I messed up every one of those takes of my coverage because I was laughing and crying at you.
I've talked about this before, but the first time me and Paul met, it was just a long conversation about this really good script that was like a book to me, and I was very invested into it. And I read a lot of stuff, but this is one of the, I remember calling my agent like, yo, this is dope. Because I just like things with heart in it, and we had a long conversation about it. I like the fact that Brittany's character was so honest in everything she went through. And which is one of those things I like doing films or projects that when people watch it, they relate to it. And I think people, if they're going through the journey right now, this movie is going to be really inspiring for them.
It's very special, and the one thing too for people who've seen any of our work, we're all playing something that nobody's used to seeing us as, which is really fun, and we've all been given an opportunity to do something different.